as we get all the private companies and now all the governmental entities getting on board now, you'll have everyone by the end of this year will have adopted, has been required to adopt their respective new leasing standards. So I think what you're going to see then is a lot more research into what's working well, what hasn't worked right, and then that's where I think you'll see the standard setters and probably a year from now, really, you'll see the standard setters taking a step back and trying to figure out, did this go the way we thought it would? And as always, you can probably expect to see a few tweaks here or there because the private companies haven't gotten that far into it. We haven't heard as many of their concerns as we've seen on the public company side yet, because most of them have evaluated at least what they think is going to happen to them, but haven't done it yet. On the technology side, I think you're going to see a lot more people utilizing technology, and even those that we talked about that thought they could go it alone or go it with a manual process are going to find out that, hey, this doesn't work. And I think you're going to see a change in the way leasing is done, throughout industry. So I think you're going to see a change in behavior from lessors, whether it's real estate corporations that are leasing the property, and from entities that are doing these leases. I think you're going to see a change in behavior, and it's what I think the interesting thing for me to see unfold over this year, as we expect to see activity ramp up a bit, is who's got the most leverage, right? Is it the lessees who can now, because we've seen some large companies like Apple, Verizon, and Google and others that have either offered full-time remote or at least hybrid arrangements for a period of time. And in some cases, like, some of the accounting firms have offered, permanently remote positions now, which means less need for physical spaces. So who, I don't want to say who wins, but yeah, but sort of who wins economically in that environment in terms of which way do the scales tip now from leasing. But I think you're going to see a lot of changes in behavior and a lot of changes in practice in terms of way leasing transactions are structured going forward. And I think now, because, and maybe it's, I think I said earlier, the confluence of the new accounting standards and COVID really brought leases to the forefront to realize, like, wow, this is a huge financial impact on us, even if we didn't see it before. Now that it's here and we have it on the balance sheet, or even if we don't have it on the balance sheet yet, and all of a sudden we have something like a pandemic where we're not using the assets that we've been financing through leases for so long, yeah, that hurts, because that's real cash that we're not utilizing to its full potential. So I think you're going to see a lot of changes in behavior on both sides of the leasing equation.